I've been waking up at 4:40 a.m., training for a marathon, and thinking I knew exactly how my body was handling it until I started wearing this tiny ring. What made me buy this ring was this idea of athletic improvement or fitness improvement, and it was the opposite. It showed me. If you are new to my channel, nice to meet you. I'm Luciana Couto. Here I share my life and my knowledge because I'm a personal trainer, health coach, yoga instructor, nutritionist. I share content to inspire you to live your best life, but in a balanced way. I don't advocate for hacks, I don't advocate for extremes, none of this. I am here to tell you that living a healthy lifestyle starts with balance and intention. With that being said, if you're not new here, you know that I advocate for doing the basics. Prime Day. I got an Oura Ring. It's because it's Prime Day, they had this deal on it. I think it was 25% or something. It was only $3.99 Canadian dollars. They have different colors and I got the least expensive one. It's the silver. I don't like any of them. I think it's too big. I don't know. So I'd rather pay less and get the cheapest color. And I found these silicone covers, and of course I got a bunch of them, colorful. You know your girl loves colors. Usually before you buy, you can ask for a measurement set. They send a bunch of plastic rings that you can measure and see what size you should wear. And I didn't have time for that because I had to buy during the Amazon Prime. So I found this post on Reddit where someone posted all the measurements of all the size, and I think this one is gonna be good for me. How can I open this? Oh, it's actually beautiful. Oh, let's see the size. I want to wear on this finger because I was thinking about when I train, when I do strength training, and when I pull the bar, I think this finger is the one that would get less weight, even if I pull this way or this way. Sometimes I have to get my wedding band off, and yeah, so. Oh, it's perfect. Oh, I love it. Of course, I've been wearing the ring 24/7 since I got it. The only time I take it off is during my showers. That's when I pop it on the charger, and honestly, I never even think about battery life anymore. The finger I chose works well for me. It doesn't get in the way during workouts, especially since I use the silicone cover and gloves. I've done heavy deadlifts and rows with no problem, but for bench press, it can get a little uncomfortable. If you lift super heavy, I'd definitely recommend taking it off. Not just for your safety, but to protect the ring too. But if you're not maxing out, it's really no big deal. It's surprisingly comfortable. No issues with any other activity. I ran, did yoga, cleaned the house, gardened, and went out, and honestly, I forgot I was even wearing it. At first, I wasn't sure about the silver color, but it grew on me. Now, I only use the silicone covers for workouts or when I want to add a pop of color. So, why someone like me would need a Oura Ring? Because you know, a girl needs a ring to be happy. Just kidding, of course. I was curious because I hear about it all the time, other influencers wearing. Here and there when I'm watching YouTube videos, I see people wearing it. I see people on the streets, especially I see at the gym. So, you know, I wanted to try. And to be honest, it aligns with my philosophy because if you've been here for a time, you know that although I live a quote-unquote intuitive life regarding diet and exercise and, you know, everything, I think to reach that state, we need to understand a lot of things, especially our body. And the best way to understand our body, to get to know our body, is with data. And this ring brings a lot of fun and interesting data. And I'm here today to share with you my first week-ish experience with it. I said weekish because it's a little more than a week, but I think it's important to mention other things that I noticed after this week period. The Oura Ring 4 is crafted from lightweight, non-allergic titanium, weighing just 3.3 to 5.2 grams and measuring 7.9 millimeters wide by 288 millimeters thick. It's water resistant to 100 meters and the battery lasts up to 8 days. But anyways, I'm not gonna get into the specifics about how it gets the data because I don't know much about it. I'm gonna tell you from the consumer point of view how it works and how we can get any benefit from it. Oura organizes all your health data on a timeline, combining what it tracks with info from other apps, like Apple Fitness, for example. You can manually log things like activities, meals, your period, meditation sessions, even your workout heart rate. You can also add tags for future reference. There is a pre-made list, or you can create your own. Now that I'm getting more comfortable with the data, I'm planning to use tags more consistently. The more context we give, the clearer the patterns. Imagine tagging something simple like hot shower and realizing later that every time you take one, your sleep score improves. That's where this really gets interesting. And here's the thing, when I said that all of this data actually aligns with my philosophy of balance, of a more intuitive approach to health, it goes like this. I track my macros. I would say I loosely track my macros. I track my weight, I track my activities, but I don't get obsessed with all the data. But to get to a point where things are intuitive for me, I need to actually dive into the data. I'm gonna explain it. Let's take as an example my nutrition data. I loosely track my macros. I mean, I pay attention on what I'm eating, but I am not counting everything. Because with time, I learned how to analyze what I'm eating without having to look for the source or without having to know all the calories and all the macros in each product. So I kind of get a sense of what I eat every day. But to get to that point when I don't have to look for each ingredient for each dish I'm eating, I had to track for a while so I could learn what would bring me more protein or more carbs, more complex carbs, what would actually increase the amount of simple sugars in my diet. You get the sense, right? So that's the same approach I wanna have with the Oura Ring. I'm gonna study the data, I'm gonna pay attention on everything in the beginning, so with time, I don't have to pay too much attention. And yet, I'm gonna be retrieving this data so I can get insights from time to time. I'm wearing it for only a week, but as far as I know, with time, it can actually alert you of a few things that are not going as expected. And you can pay attention and potentially find disease or illnesses. So, even if you are not looking at the data every day, it could warn you about a few things. But probably you are here because you want to know how was my experience and if I got something valuable from this experience. One of the most interesting metrics I've been exploring is the readiness score. For example, today it showed 80, which means my body is doing pretty well. When I tapped into the advisor, it suggested I go lighter today. It even offered options for gentle movement if I wanted to keep the conversation going. The thing is, that's not always realistic for me. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and my workouts are already scheduled by week. Skipping them just isn't in the plan. I truly believe discipline trumps everything in fitness, and that's what's worked for me. I'm curious to see if Oura will learn to meet me where I am. For now, I try to compromise by easing up a bit on the days it tells me to take it slow. So I'm gonna share with you some insights I personally had during this week. The first thing that I discovered is that I was not sleeping as deeply as I thought. Yeah. I worked for many years as a health coach, and as soon as I would start working with a client, of course I would try to assess their level of fitness. And one of the most important questions was, how is your sleep? And 90% of the time, people would say, my sleep's not the problem. I sleep great, actually. And I would start asking some deeper questions, and people would start realizing that they actually didn't sleep that great, that there are a couple of things that they could improve. Sometimes people think, yeah, I just go to the bed and I sleep until the next day. That's great, right? But there were other questions that I would ask them, including, how do you feel when you wake up? You feel rested, or you feel like you could sleep more, you feel exhausted, and people, I have trouble to wake up in the morning, to go to the work. But here's the thing, people sometimes live for a long period of time sleeping bad, they don't realize that they sleep bad. Actually, I had a hard time to convince my husband that he should take care of his sleep, because he always wakes up in the middle of the night, and because he does that since he was a kid, he thought that that was normal, and it's not. So you can imagine me, the queen of making people realize that they don't sleep well, realizing that I don't either. That's what happened. Why I thought I slept well? First, because I have a good routine. I go to bed and I wake up almost the same time every day. I do almost everything in the book. I don't use my phone at night. I go to bed at the same time every night. I don't eat too much before going to bed. Normal things. And I don't have problem sleeping, and I wake up the next day and I thought I was rested because I would feel the same I always felt in my life. I'm great, right? But then I started analyzing the data and I discovered that I actually wake up a few times during the night. I just don't remember. Don't tell my husband. I'm ashamed. Just kidding. And I also discovered that I don't have enough deep sleep. What a surprise. And I thought that just for that was already worth it. Here's the thing. Now that I have this data, not only I know that I don't sleep well, I also can keep tracking, try new things, and see the results. So that was already insightful, right? But then came another interesting data, actually another interesting insight. No, I wouldn't say that. I would call it a proof that it works. After you wear your ring for a couple of days, it starts to measure your stress level. And at first I thought, okay, if I run in the morning, my heartbeat goes up, so of course my stress level is gonna go up. Actually, working out is a type of stress. So I thought, okay, that's obvious. Of course, if I'm in bed watching TV, I'm relaxed, right? So at first I thought it's gonna be just another data. But something happened last Thursday. And here comes the story time. I'm gonna try to summarize the situation I had Thursday morning when I went for my run. So I was coming back from my run. I think I was about a kilometer away from home, and I was passing by this couple who was running as well. They were in front of me, so I came to the left. I passed by them, and then I would return to my lane in front of them, right? When I was returning, this man riding a bike came pretty fast and passed between us. I was so scared because I was just running, I was listening to my music, and this guy almost hit me with his bike. And he screamed something that I couldn't get, to be honest. But as soon I understood the situation, what was happening, I started recording with my glasses, with these glasses, my Meta Ray-Ban. Side note, women have one for your safety. So I started recording, and this guy was yelling at me, so I started yelling at him back, saying that it was a shared lane. And he started to say not nice things to me. I told him I was recording. He didn't listen. I repeat a couple of times, I'm recording, I'm recording. Then the guy who was running with his girlfriend or his wife, I don't know, was passing by, and the biker pushed his bike against this guy, like wanting to fight both of us, actually. And I was pretty scared with the situation until I could actually make the guy understand that I was recording. I put my finger on his face and told, yelling, of course, just so you know, I'm recording you. And that was when he realized that it's not a good idea to try to hit this woman. The guy was pretty aggressive towards me, so I started to scream for the police. If there was any police officer around, he could hear me. Something I always learned in my house, my father always told me, if you are in a situation that it's scary, try to gather people's attention. So scream as much as you can. And that's what I did. Like, I was screaming at him that he saw us, and because I wanted people to come, because I didn't want to be by myself with that guy. And when he realized that I was not afraid of him, I was recording him, and I was calling for the police, he moved on. So he continued on his way. He left me alone, but I was very scared, to the point that this morning when I ran, my husband came with me because I was too afraid to run by myself. I'm telling you this story because after everything passed, I was just thinking about it. Of course, I reviewed the video, and the guy was totally wrong. I didn't do anything wrong, of course. I didn't even curse, to be honest. He did. But if you're a woman, you already know society, right? We are always wrong. We are hysterical, just because I didn't allow a man to run over me. But anyways, and I just remembered, oh my God, I have the Oura. And it's so interesting that it not only showed that I was very stressed during the situation, but after that, because this experience really triggered me. So I spent a couple of days thinking about it, and I don't want to go too deep, but this just triggered me experience from my past, so I was pretty stressed about it. And when I look at the data and I try to remember the times I was thinking about that experience, it matched. Not only when I lived the experience, because of course I was running, my heartbeat was already high at that point, but even other times of the day when I was watching TV on my bed and I would think about the topic, the ring would catch that I was stressed. So that for me alone was already an indicator that that was a good purchase. Another insight that I had is that I need to rest more. And it's interesting because what made me buy this ring was this idea of athletic improvement or fitness improvement. it was always in my mind, okay, it's gonna tell me the best time to work out more, when I have to push more, or the days I can run more. And it was the opposite. It showed me when I have to rest. It's kind of the same thing if you think about it, because it actually shows me when I have to rest so I can improve my performance. It showed me that it's not about pushing more, but learning how to manage your resources. I don't know if it makes sense. What I'm trying to say is, it's not that I need more energy, it's just that I need to take care more of my energy, so I have more spare energy to use. Have you ever thought that the best things that you learn in life are kind of obvious, but I needed the data showing me that so I could internalize it? Over time, Oura starts unlocking personalized health metrics, but it takes a bit of patience. It needs enough data to calibrate things like resilience, cardiovascular age, and chronotype. I'm still waiting on those, but it's already confirmed that my sleep regularity is solid, and my cardio capacity, it's at peak level. One of the coolest parts, it actually projects how my capacity might evolve over time, even comparing how easy or not it will be for me to climb 5 flights of stairs compared to the general population. I love seeing that kind of insight visualized. I want to go a step further and understand the correlation with my daily nutrition with my daily data. Because as I said, I try to eat a lot of protein, and I see the results every time I go for a body scan. If I gain more muscle mass, I assume it's because my strength training is going well and my diet is going well. But I don't have this real-time data. I use an app to track my macros. It's Lose It. I like it. It's good. It's cheap. I think it's one of the cheapest ones, and it works great. I use this app for 3 or 4 years now. I love it. But right now, there is no integration between Lose It and the Oura app. There's an integration with another app. I think it's Chronometer, the name, which is a little more expensive. And I'm gonna try this. So if you're not a subscriber yet, here is a good reason to subscribe, because I believe the next video is gonna be about the integration between those two. And I usually don't relate what I eat with how my body is responding regarding resting, regarding sleep, regarding a lot of things. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. I'm very curious about it. So be sure to subscribe, because I think it's gonna be an interesting video. So far, I'm in love with this ring. At first, I thought it would be too big for my small hand. It is, but I actually like it, to be honest. I don't have any problem wearing it whatsoever. As I told you during this video, I had so many useful insights. I think it makes me accountable as well. Usually on weekends, I'm pretty much sedentary. Not on weekends, but on Sundays. I usually don't do anything on Sundays. And the data showed me that I actually need to do a little more on Sundays. It's interesting, even for a person like me, that I consider being a fit person. I'm not right now trying to change anything in my body. I'm not trying to lose weight, not even gaining more muscle mass. I'm pretty satisfied with my body right now, with my fitness level, and yet it was pretty insightful. So if you're trying to lose weight, to gain weight, to sleep better, if you already know that you have a sleeping problem, I'm pretty sure you are going to get a lot of benefits from this ring. What about the cons? Well, it's expensive, I would say. So when you buy, make sure you buy the right size so you don't lose it, because it's a very expensive ring. And of course, you have the subscription cost as well. You have to pay a subscription to access your data. So it's not a cheap thing, but if we weight the fact that it's gonna improve our health, I think in the long run it's kind of an investment, because the more you know, the better your health, and you are lowering the chances of getting sick. And sickness costs a lot. Not only going to the doctor, medication, but staying away from work, wasting time in your life that you could be spending with your loved ones. So for me, I see it as an investment. The same as I see going to the gym, eating well, drinking water, sleeping well. And I think that I wouldn't say it's a con, but it's worth mentioning. It's that you are going to have a learning curve in the beginning. It can be overwhelming, the amount of data, especially if you're not used to track anything right now. Starting track this amount of data can be a little overwhelming, but I would say it's something that it's gonna be a little painful in the beginning, but it's gonna pay off. Not only because you are going to know yourself better, but because with time you are going to reach that intuitive point that I told you before. So you're not going to look at your data as many times as in the beginning. This little ring taught me that being strong isn't just about doing more. It's actually about knowing when to pause. And maybe that's the most powerful thing we can do for ourselves as women over 40. And if you want to know more about my philosophy, about how I live a healthy lifestyle without actually thinking a lot about it, watch this video, because I think it's going to bring a lot of value to you.